Welcome back to Build Boldly. I'm your host, Pat Rodgers, and today we continue our mini-series on my top tips for 26. So far, we've covered strategy and operations and finance and accounting. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of sales and marketing. Throughout my career, I've held numerous roles in various industries. The one thing at the core of my personal success and the businesses that had the pleasure of working with is sales and marketing. I have an incredible mentor and family friend, Tom Zupanzik, who gave me the greatest advice a freshman in college could have ever received. Tom asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Without missing a beat, I said, "I want to start my business." Well, I had no business, no idea of what the business would be. But as with any young entrepreneurial minded individual, I knew that was the right answer and my ultimate goal. Tom's response has stuck with me for my entire career. He said, "If you want to own your own business one day, the most important thing you can do is learn to sell." Sales is the lifeblood of any business. If you don't sell, you don't actually have a business. If you can't feed yourself and your family, your dreams die right there. I share Tom's advice because we can find ourselves in the day-to-day minutia of running a business and lose sight of what is most important. Sales and marketing keeps the lights on and keeps you moving toward your ultimate goal. Let's dive in on our top 5 tips for sales and marketing. Number 1, get a CRM and use it all day, every day. All right, this may sound incredibly basic, but it has to be said. CRM, or customer relationship management software, is so critical to success that we cannot in good conscience create a top tips list without CRM. If you don't have one today, please, 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 I beg of you, get one. There are lots of solutions out there. I've found the simplest option to be HubSpot in most cases. Now, depending on your industry, you may have CRM functionalities built in directly to your other platforms, and that's perfectly fine. The most important thing is that you can track detailed information on your prospects and customers. This includes things like their demographics, their titles, prior purchases, their business, their interests, and anything else that may provide insight into why they made that purchase. The next is wins and losses. Opportunity tracking provides us with so much information. From the time it took to close a deal, to whether we won or lost, the potential goods or services they purchased, and so much more. To simplify the why, in the words of the great Peter Drucker, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. I think about this all the time. I think about this so much that I started a software company specifically focused on identifying the patterns and actions that drive the highest success for a sales organization. Get a CRM, love your CRM, and track everything. It is by far and away the greatest tool for any business. It can propel you further and farther than any other investment. Once you're in it every day, begin measuring and tracking your outcomes. Use that to drive productivity and achievement. Let's talk number 2. Create, confirm, or double down on your ICP. Yep, it's another acronym. We love our acronyms in sales. Your ICP is your ideal client profile. This is simply the role, personality, demographics, or any other variable that identifies the business or individual who is most likely to purchase your goods or services. Now that we are tracking these variables in our CRM, we can begin to use this information to identify where we spend our time and our resources. As a very simple example, if you sell dental equipment, you call on dentists. You wouldn't call on a hospital system because they don't need dental equipment. Now let's take it a step further. We're in our CRM and we evaluate our wins and our losses. You look at the difference in wins and losses between a small dental practice, a variable we're tracking, and a very large national dental practice. The insights are clear. We win 50% of our small dental business deals and only 10% of our large national deals. Now we look a bit closer. It turns out that our sales cycle on small practices is 10 days, and our sales cycle on large national deals is 90 plus days. So you're telling me we are winning a fraction of the deals, and the time it takes is 9 times that of a small dental practice. What happens if we were to push all of our resources to small dental practices? Well, we would win more deals in a fraction of the time. Now, that's the power of CRM. The other element to evaluate here is which products and services are selling the best. What do people buy first? What gets us in the door? Are there products or services that take too long to sell, that don't sell at all? This evaluation of our ICP not only opens our eyes to who we should be selling to, but what we should be selling as well. Depending on where you are in your life cycle, it's time to either identify, confirm, or double down on your ICP. This singular step can easily double or triple your revenue if you focus on the right inputs to achieve your desired outputs. All right, we've got our CRM humming, we've identified our ICP. Now let's get into number 3, replicating top performers and removing friction in the sales process. We're talking rainmakers. Rainmakers are the ones bringing in the revenue. Those at the top of the leaderboard. The individuals have found their own secret sauce. They have the ability to open doors, hit targets, and drive revenue for your business. There is no greater insight as a business owner than understanding that secret sauce. You may be thinking, some people are just born with it. How could we possibly replicate that? I'm here to tell you that's a myth. Yes, there are people who are naturally extroverted and have that unique ability to talk to anyone and connect with anyone. But that doesn't close deals. That doesn't drive interest. What we are looking for in top performers is the way they communicate, the way they introduce ideas, how they listen to prospects, how they uniquely position your offerings, and most importantly, how they handle objections. Clicking down further, how do they follow up? How frequently are they communicating with customers? These are the operational steps. These are the things we can absolutely replicate. Shadow these individuals, take notes, and begin to uncover the patterns that lead to success. These patterns become the playbook for every member of the sales team. This is how you replicate top performers. Now, let's talk about removing friction in the sales process. You know who feels the friction more than anyone else? Your top performers. When you're a top performer, you naturally create stress on the business. This is due to the fact that you're pushing the business forward. You are driving the success. So, what are we looking for? We're looking for things that slow us down. Does the quoting process take too long? Do we have too many steps in the sales process? Do we overcomplicate the legal process? Does it take too long to run a discovery? Every stage of your sales process has some level of friction. Some of this friction is healthy and necessary to ensure we are not only talking to the right person, i.e., qualification, but also to ensure we can deliver on our promises and delight our customers. Then there's the other side, the bad friction, the stuff that usually falls into the bucket of, well, that's how we always done it. This is the stuff that needs to go immediately. This is what you as a leader can fix and change tomorrow. Now, here's the most important part. You need to do this with multiple people. If you only have one person selling, then lean in with them. That's totally fine. If you do have more than one person, it's time to evaluate each individual. One size never fits all. So getting a holistic perspective is very important. When you continuously hear the same feedback, it's time to make the change. A major bonus here is that nothing builds trust and excitement like being heard and feeling a part of the process. Follow through and see what your sellers do for you when they feel empowered and heard. Number 4, Set goals and targets aligned to compensation. This may seem obvious, but when we're talking about salespeople, there truly is a coin operated component to what we do. It's not the only thing that matters, but if I had a salesperson that wasn't money motivated, I'd question why they're in sales. So, what makes a good goal? A good goal is not only a single target. A good goal is broken down based on the inputs needed to achieve the outputs. For example, if I have a seller with a 20% win rate and they need to close 10 deals a month, then I need them to generate 50 opportunities to achieve their 10 deals. You take that a step further. How many activities are needed to achieve 50 opportunities? These mini milestones are critical to a salesperson's success. Sales is hard. Small milestones create wins, and wins create momentum. Breaking them down into weekly goals ensures they stay on track and you aren't pulling your hair out at the end of the month, quarter, or year. Now let's talk about frequency of goals. A big question I always get is whether our goals should be weekly, monthly, or quarterly goals. I'll tell you right now, I hate annual goals. Annual goals are for the company, not individuals. So, how do we determine the frequency? The first place to look is your sales cycle. What's the average amount of time it takes to win a deal? If it's greater than 30 days, a monthly goal may be too short. If it's 10 days, a quarterly goal is far too long. Quotas, or the amount of dollars an individual needs to bring in, should be based around the sales cycle. Then we break the inputs down to the next increment. As an example, let's say that we're on a monthly quota. Then what are the weekly inputs needed to achieve that desired output? How many calls, prospects, or touch points are needed each week to achieve our monthly quota? Goals and targets create transparency. They enable a salesperson to control the controllables. More importantly, they give you, as the leader, the ability to see who is on track and who is not. Sales is a challenging role, and not everyone is suited for this line of work. Tracking goals not only identifies top performers, but also allows you to make changes when individuals are not hitting their targets. It gives you and the seller a very clear picture of what success looks like. Without them, you're shooting from the hip and hoping for the best. And I've said this before, hope is not a strategy. Okay. Now, how the hell do we get leads? I'm so very glad you asked. Let's dive in on number 5, defining your marketing plan and budget. Marketing tends to be the hardest thing for small business owners to get behind, and I get it. You're spending money you may never see come back in the form of sales. So many aspects of marketing feel like you're putting the cart before the horse. But I am telling you, there is no growth without marketing. Saw an article recently that talked about the difference between consumers in 2015 and consumers in 2025. There are two key changes. First is access. The access to information is truly insane. You can find anything anywhere in seconds. The second change is the Amazon effect. One-click access to almost any good or service they can imagine. These two elements have fundamentally changed the way consumers interact with businesses. If you don't pop up when they search for your business or even the service that you're in, there's almost zero chance they have any idea that you even exist, let alone that you can earn their business. This is where marketing comes into play. It's no longer a nice to have or we'll sprinkle a little here or there. It's a non-negotiable. Here's the kicker. Your CRM can do wonders for your marketing investments. The leads that you spent money on, either via paid advertising, blog content, or SEO, all of these aspects, if they don't actually close immediately, can be nurtured through email campaigns and cold calling sequences. Without a good CRM, these leads you paid for go into the abyss and will never be seen again. Nurturing them in your CRM ensures you get a second and third at bat. It ensures you aren't forgotten when the time comes. Just this past December, we closed a Rise tenant that first came to us 3 years ago. Yes, I said years, but we nurtured them, stayed in touch, and when the time was right, they didn't look elsewhere. They looked to someone they knew and had a relationship with, albeit a fully virtual relationship. Now, how do we achieve this? The first step, in my opinion, is outsourcing. There are so many contractors and marketing firms out there that do this every single day. You can find them on Fiverr, Upwork, or just Google small business marketing. The reason I don't recommend bringing this in-house is initially, there are so many aspects to marketing that are hard to grasp. There's website conversion, SEO and blog content, social media, paid advertising, and so on and so on. Hiring a single individual in marketing is like trying to capture a unicorn. Outsource first until you truly know what is needed and have the resources to support them. Now, when you go the outsource route, ask for references, multiple references. Track the success and conversions and ensure you push them to be as excited and invested in your business as you are. This is never a set it and forget it endeavor. I've been at Rise for 2 years now, and we're on our third firm. We have an entire podcast dedicated to the challenges and issues we have run into over time. My last point here, most small businesses normally focus on their immediate geography. If that's you, you're providing goods and services to your community. If you're in this bucket, ensure your marketing partner, contractor, or employee is intimately familiar with local SEO. Local SEO is a big change that Google made that focuses searches like plumber near me to those that are clearly local firms. This requires a unique approach to content marketing and website optimization. If you're focused on broad SEO strategies and not a hyper-local strategy, you will miss out on opportunities and spend dollars that don't return. Make sure you understand local SEO to drive true results. Now, I could go on because I love this topic, but for now, that's what we'll leave you with. Later this year, we'll dive in on each of these topics in greater detail. Let us know what you want to hear, what you need to know. That's why we're doing this podcast in the first place. Revenue cures all problems. Make sure your teams are set up for success and make sure your sales and marketing teams are focused on the right inputs to achieve your desired outputs. Give them the room and tools to build boldly. Next week, we're diving in on our final mini-series and focusing on you, the owner and operator. We're talking about personal growth, the steps you need to take personally that unlock your potential. Stay tuned. Give us a like or share if you found this helpful. And as always, keep building boldly.